Glad to be with us on this Thursday edition of Ed Schultz News and Commentary. Big day in Washington. They are going to be voting on what we're going to do with the Syrian and now Iraqi refugees. Interesting how it's expanding. Give it another 48 hours, and it's probably going to include the Mexicans. I told you all along that this is going to be the strategy of the Republicans to fight immigration reform. They don't want immigration reform. They're going to use fear and terrorism to get what they want. And that's to protect our borders and become the party that really cares about the security of America. Although that it's been President Obama who has fourfolded the resources on the southern border and deported more illegals than any other president in the history of the country. But we'll just put that aside, right? So now what's going to happen as this conversation is broken out, we're going to take this pause. I say it's not a pause. It's going to be an elimination. But this is the old playbook for the Republicans. They can't win the argument. They can't win the hearts and minds of the American people unless they play the fear card. The president's calling them out on it.
They've been playing on fear in order to try to score political points or to advance their campaigns. And it's irresponsible. And it's contrary to who we are. And it needs to stop because the world is watching.
No one in the media has really taken a great deal of time and resource to explain to the American people what it's like to try to get into the United States legally. It is a lengthy process, but we're getting a lot of stories on, well, it's so easy to get a fake passport and you can't vet these people. And it's almost as if these people are Martians. It's almost as if we have absolutely no ability whatsoever to protect the country and decide who belongs in the country or not. And so the threats, the fear-mongering, the hate, the racism that is starting to develop in our mindset, and now we're including the Iraqis. Do you know how many refugees this country has created in Iraq? It's well over 1 million people that had to leave that country because of the invasion of the Bush administration and what we have done in the aftermath of it all. So now we're picking and choosing people on faith. We're picking and choosing on how they look. We're picking and choosing them on whatever criteria we can just invent. Now, on this legislation that's going to be voted on today, and it's going to get kicked over to the Senate, is that whoever is in charge is going to have to personally sign off on the person, the human being coming into the United States. Now, who the hell wants that job? Who wants to get paid about $150,000 a year to be an administrator to personally sign off? Well, I said such and such person could come in, this little 3-year-old from Syria. It's ludicrous. It's not who we are. It's caving into the terrorists. And it's more playing on the fears of the American people, and low information voters are easily swayed to this kind of stuff. We have one of the most stringent vetting processes on the globe when it comes to getting people into the United States. And just because this terrorist went from Belgium to France and killed a bunch of people, well, that must be able to happen here in the United States. Have a little bit more faith in what we're doing. We haven't been hit on Obama's watch. We've been hit on previous watches. Of course, we can't point out Bush because that would be unfair. The conservatives get a little uptight about that. The people that have been running around this country telling us that they care about security are the ones that have made us the most vulnerable. They're the ones that want to make it hard for Obama. They won't even give him the authorization to use military force. It's been sitting in front of him in the Congress for 16 months, but they're quick to go out on the talking heads and rip ass saying that it's Obama's fault. Yesterday, I was watching Jake Tapper for a few minutes. Chris Christie, who polls lower than whale shit, who is not going to be president of the United States, is revered as some expert. He comes up with this idea that it's all Obama's fault, and all we have to do is get NATO to sign off on a no-fly zone, and that's going to solve all of our problems. That's how elementary these people are. Chris Christie's an expert on absolutely nothing, and I've never seen a guy get so much attention with such low polling. Martin O'Malley's got to be sitting over there saying, gosh, I need a new PR person. I'm polling better than Christie is over on the Democratic side. I can't get my mug on TV. It's a joke. But this is, if you want to parallel it, seriously, and if you paid attention back to the run-up to the Iraqi war before the invention, the narrative is very similar in the fear-mongering. We were 45 minutes to a mushroom cloud. Anybody that comes into the United States from Syria is going to be a terrorist and blow us up. Oh, there is seriously a parallel.